All right, everybody. That's the cue to get started. Welcome, 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 everybody. Lottie Dottie and everybody. I know some folks are still joining us today. And I acknowledge that our shift talk has been shifting. The shift has been shifting over here. I want to acknowledge that up front. There are so many of you who are here for the first time watching on YouTube and inboxing later. I'm LaTanya Taylor, affectionately known as the Rev Coach, the Juicy Spirit Mama, the Priestess of Purpose, Pleasure, Passion, and Profits. And I am coming today to do the solo shift talk with us because I have something to celebrate and acknowledge on this day, and it snuck up on me. Just like so many other blessings have been doing, they've been sneaking up on me. So I just want to affirm that the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are is where God is. The I am in me salutes the holy I am in you. And so I want to acknowledge that first up. I have been trying to keep those of you who are in the internal circle up to date on so many shifts. But today I want to acknowledge July 3rd. While other people are celebrating the America's birthday, this is America's birthday as we know it. Excuse me, the corporation, America, the corporation. But the Americans are ancient people. So you would have to go beyond the Declaration of Independence from what? Because then you got to look at treaties, you got to look at all of that. And their time is up. They were given a time to rule in a season. So even this July could look different. This is why we are looking at, are we going to even have an election this year, right? If you all have been paying attention to what's going on, no matter where you fall on the political side of things, a lot of things are going on, but America has a birthday. Just like you have a birth chart, America has a birth chart. And so America has to look at where Pluto is sitting for it, transformation in Aquarius, okay? The Saturn retrograde that is happening, the Neptune retrograde in the same sign. So when we look at this, you got to remember, no matter what's going on, it has a birth chart just like you do. There's a certain thing as a death chart as well. The death chart tells you about the life of the person and that type of thing. But America has a birthday. So when you're doing July 4th, you're celebrating some of the illusions. You're celebrating some of the ways that, and this is why we've all been moved to Juneteenth and that type of thing. But July 3rd has a different meaning for your girl. Holla. This has a different meaning for me because 10 years ago, I said yes to myself. So all of these teachings that I offer, that I share, that I teach, they come from somewhere, right? So when I talk about saying yes to myself on July 3rd, 10 years ago, 2013 is how I know, because my husband came into my life in this year. So don't tell me about you need time to manifest. The moment you make a choice and a decision, the moment that you say yes to yourself, you start to set in motion other things. And sometimes it means that there's a gap of moving into the unknown. On July 3rd, I was on a job. I was called into the office and I was told that my contract was ending and I was not being renewed. And I had to make a choice and a decision because in that moment, everything shifted. Everything shifted about my reserves in my account. Come on, somebody. I know somebody's been here. Everything shifted about what I was going to do. And I made a video that I teach in my training. I made a video. You see the video in the Shift Everything curriculum. I share what happened for me on that July 3rd. I made a video to my best friends because my best friends had already crossed the road of entrepreneurship. They had already done it. And so I didn't call my mother. I didn't have a husband at the time. I didn't call my ex-husband. I didn't call even my spiritual people if they were employees and had never worked for themselves. I got in my car. I was doing some of the deepest feminine work I had ever done in my life. That feminine work was ushering me into a confidence, a new awareness, a new identity with myself. I was doing the deep work. In fact, let me tell you let me back up. Let me press rewind. Before I got called into the office, for a few months, this is where Juicy was born. A good girlfriend, you need to have you a good Judy. It's a running joke with Judy that's known for Kaleidoscope hair products. She was a good Judy. Her name is Judy, but she's known as Judy with the big booty. That's what she's known as. Is what the initials are for. But she was a hustler. She was hungry. She was a stylist. And so she did all kind of things online, making online become her free marketing space. And so she was a good Judy to what people now know as Super Scent from New Orleans, Louisiana. Super Scent was a good Judy to her friends. And they went on to open businesses. Her best friend is a millionaire now with a hair a face product line. Another that Judy was a Judy to a sister who ended up opening up her business. Y'all see where I'm going with this? Economic development begins within. It begins with your yes. It begins with your relationship to community. So when we talk about Ubuntu, when we talk about I am because you are, this is you got to be I am to yourself first. And so I had to say yes to myself. And so I had a good Judy a few months prior who you all have seen me with, and we've done many things together. I love to call her name, talk about her because she does watch the replays. Is Elder Vicki Johnson invited me to take one of the sessions on sensuality. And the thing is, see, I had been teaching and writing about the spiritual relationship of sensuality with my closest friends for the longest. I was in the closet. Some of you are in the closet with your gifts. Some of you are in the closet with the thing that you are most interested in because you're waiting on somebody to give you permission. And so I was in the closet. That's step one. You got to come out the closet, honey. And so I was in the closet, and my good girlfriend invited me to this conference where there were mostly ministers in the church. And so a few people signed up for my workshop on sensuality at that time, and she stopped the entire flow of the session. Folks have gone to their tables. Some sessions were too crowded. There were all types of other sessions. They didn't come to my table initially. A few people did. A few yeses. She stopped the session to deal with the beliefs and the image that we have attached to certain things, the core beliefs around fear and shame around sexuality that have been inherited through rigid religious doctrine. And so she stopped and she said, now all of you talk about it. Most of you are trying to have partners. Some of you are sexually frustrated, single and in marriages. And she began to speak into the truth of what was hiding in women. And then she said, so now we're going to do this again. Because you're not going to be able to come to me and talk about what you won't do the work about. And so she does. You need a good Judy. Sometimes you are in the circle of your good Judy right here. Might not be in your bloodline yet that you can see. So we go back And now my table is bum rushed. Everybody who was hiding was bum rushed. And that in itself had a whole message on it. And so we literally had to move out of the conference room into the hallway to accommodate the people, to the point I had to turn some people away. It was too big of a session. And there were no part twos. Number 3 is there going to be some things that you said no to, that there will not be a second chance in this season of your life. So there are some things that you still are talking about and you're afraid of and you're saying no to. Is you keep waiting to, oh, I'm going to do it when. Nope, you got to do it now. One sister tells the story and wrote the testimony, and sometimes I cringe because I love her so much. She said, I was one of the sisters that you turned away. And she said, and that triggered me because I had been dealing with rejection all my life, but she chose last. And she had to deal with why she didn't get on board with her yes the first time the invitation was given. She might have wanted to put it on to me, or you could have let me in. She could have stayed there. I'm only one person. She didn't know that there were 3 or 4 other people before her that I had to say no to. And so now we go into this session, and Juicy was born right there in liberating women from the shame, the guilt, the restriction, the religious dogma that had attached to them, that was breaking down their marriages, their relationship with their body, their relationship with God. And it went from one session to one workshop. The women kept wanting more, to it evolved into an entire program that some of you are already in, that's in right now under the sound of my voice. Juicy is significant in this story because in me giving birth to myself, the Divine Mother gave birth to something through me that was bigger than me. So big that it pushed me off of that job on July 3rd. Because I was going home, I was coaching, I was teaching. I know, so the things y'all, the excuses y'all have, because I worked a job and built my business. But more than business, I was saying yes in ministry, because this was a ministry place that this was born. This was a ministry conference. That's significant for how I'll close this out. And on July 3rd, when I made that video to my best friends, I said, everything has shifted. And I can either do what I've always done, which is put out resumes and use my contacts, because I have a reservoir of contacts. I've done great work. I've worked with the mayor in Washington, D.C. I've worked with neighborhood initiatives. I've worked as a liaison between public and private partnerships for both the community, nonprofits, corporations who wanted to partner in education, and with the mayor's initiative. I have worked privately with celebrities and other stages. I've been in some amazing rooms in the political field of DC. And I don't say that to toot my own horn, but I could have gone through that list to find something to hold me over. But I had done that enough. And this time I said yes to myself. So when I teach, if y'all haven't gotten that teaching, ask for it so I can get it to you, get the link to you. I said yes to myself. I told my friend, I said, I either can do what I've always done, and I can go and I do the resume game and find something else, yada, yada, yada. And there was a little bit of a issue around legality and injustice into the way that the person who did the contract, they did it as a personal vendetta and what do you call it, retaliation. And so I had a real case, and the executive suite did not know he was doing it. In fact, the big manager, supervisor, was very upset. And so I could have pursued it, probably even gotten placed in another department and under another contract. But I said, what does this mean? I said, or I can take all that I have done to build other people's organizations and use that knowledge to build it for myself. And so I did that, and it was hell. It's rewarding, but it back in the day, I don't know about the sweet and sour y'all get now, but back in the day when you used to eat Chinese food, sweet and sour used to be really more have a twang to it. It didn't, it was much, you got the sour kick, but it was sweet to be in this place. But in the very beginning, the first 3 or 4 months, it was sour. I say that for somebody who thinks that entrepreneurship is a place for you to escape to. Because this wasn't about entrepreneurship and quitting a job and I don't want to work for nobody. It wasn't that. It wasn't coming from there. This was purpose. See, I had people in my life where I might be that person in yours that was telling me, you got a calling. You need to leap out there. You need to jump out there. You need to do this. And I had coaches. Let me tell you about me. Let me tell you about me. If you heard this story, indulge me for a moment because I'm celebrating my day with you today. Let me tell you about me. I had a whole business coach, just like I'm the coach to some of you. I had a whole business coach who was already setting up an exit strategy for in a packages and details because it was a good Judy. She was my friend, but her strength was also business. And she saw me. And so, yeah, I was paying her. I wasn't doing what some of y'all do, to sit back and watch your friends and all of that. Nope, I paid my friend. But she was coaching me good, and I was resistant as hell. I did not do the things that she told me to do, and this happened on July 3rd. So ideally, I already had a vision map, a strength and weaknesses assessment. I already knew what I needed to do. So I entered into the marketplace, and the first thing I did wrong was I charged less than my value because I thought I had to. She had already told me, you are OG. You've been doing this forever and ever, no matter how, no matter, just because this and this and this is where you start. I didn't do it. I did not start at my true market value. And what that lack consciousness did was created lack consciousness in my business. I suffered in the beginning with my own self-esteem. Entrepreneurship became a rites of passage for me. And that is how many of you are in the feminine abundance rites of passage today, because I had to go through my own rites of passage. Sensuality birthed me for me to step into abundance. Because if you can overcome shame of your sexual abuse, guilt and fear around God putting you in a heaven or a hell, around who you are sensually as a woman, and whatever choices and decisions you have made that may not have been good ones, if you can do that for yourself, you open up another portal of abundance. I didn't know I was opening up a portal of abundance in 2013, but I stayed the course. I had some other friends in my life. My second best friend, Rashida, she said to me, she said, for the first 6 months, you're going to have to shed your monkey mind. I said, what you mean, Sheeta? I wrote about this in my book, I think. I don't know if it's maybe time for me to write another book. But I said, what you mean about this, Sheeta? Sheeta said, you're gonna have to shed your monkey mind because you've been taught as an employee to depend on a check at a certain time, and you've been surrounded by other people with an employee mindset. So they're going to ask you, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? All right. And what they're really asking you is, what are you gonna do so you don't have to ask me for any money? Come on now, we know our people. So she said, you're going to have to increase your affirmations. You're going to have to work out. You're going to have to set your day. You're going to have to not communicate with anybody that will place a seed of doubt in your mind because it's already there. You're going to have to shed your monkey mind. It's the best. My friend today, y'all don't know how precious she is to me. It's the same two people now that I've made the video. Two, private on YouTube. I didn't know that video, that transparency will become what you all hear now is shift everything, because everything shifted. And I had to keep on shifting every day for over a year till I found my rhythm. And in the midst of finding my rhythm, I moved to another country. Honey, don't tell me what saying yes to yourself, investing in yourself, showing up in the room, asking for support, being patient. Do you know how many times I was supposed to have a special ceremony done that my mentor got busy or whatever? I'm talking to those of you all who are a little pissed with me because you chose me and I got busy. Well, you want somebody that got a little busy because you know that it works when you work it, baby. And I'm here to tell you it works when you work it. Just let that be point number 5 or 6 somewhere up in there. It works when you work it. There were nights I was moving money from one account to another to try to pay a bill to make sure that the check didn't bounce. And that wasn't how I had been used to living, mind you. I didn't know hustle like that. I was the good girl. I was the one who went to school, got the grades, and made sure I set up in insurance methods with a job or savings with. So all I knew was how to be responsible as that good girl. So now as an entrepreneur, I'm judging myself that I'm doing everything wrong. Monkey mind, rites of passage, a new self, a rebirth. I'm building the plane while flying it. I want you to get that analogy in your head. I'm building the plane. Who does that? Build a plane while flying, honey. You're going to crash. And I would have little small crashes. It took me a while to even get to the point of what my first business coach told me. And then when she told me, when I finally got there, and it's still the next coach investment said, nope, that's not enough either. You now, because now a few years has passed. Now I got more value in the marketplace. I would attract clients I would make and negotiate deals with, and then they wouldn't pay me. I would take it personal. My heart would hurt because they would give me their sob stories, and I'm like, okay, I'll help you, no problem. But the reason is because the truth of the matter is I came into this work as a heart-centered servant. Don't let the media fool you and fix my life and all that. I'm a minister first. So rebirth found a space. Juicy, the mother, has ushered women through layers of rites of passage. And then I got called to another rites of passage for myself, and another one to where we are today. Juicy continues to change with me and grow with me. Juicy is no longer offered just like out there in the marketplace, because now the Divine Mother Yamoya, my Ori, said, nope, they have to qualify to get in, because we're not doing the marketplace dance that everybody has commercialized femininity and monetized sensuality. And when I first started, I'm coming around people who are from the church, mostly from the mosque. They don't know. This is not popular. But see, that's a part of my divine assignment. That's a part of my blueprint, is that oftentimes I have to be the first. I have to be the one to initiate a thing. I want y'all to hear what I'm saying today. I don't know. I hope I'm feeding somebody's faith over their doubt. And so I'm at this place, you know, of surrender in this season. And let me tell you, this solar eclipse that we had, many of you can feel this energy. We're not in the same atmosphere. We're not orbiting in the same energy anymore. It shifted. It started shifting in 2020. And it's been the labor pain. See, because before you are reborn, most things got to go through labor. Even if it's a cesarean section, you got to have labor. See, everybody want to be the butterfly, but we don't talk about the labor and the labor pains. We don't tell everybody want to be the butterfly, but we don't talk about the cocoon season. Everybody wants to be the butterfly, but we don't talk about the liquidization process that the butterfly has to go through to dissolve its whole identity as a worm, as a caterpillar, to be reformed. The scripture says, I knew you when you were, before you were formed in your mother's womb. Your destiny was already set. So I ask you today to join me in celebrating either your liberation or acknowledging your bondage. You get to choose which it is today. On July 3rd, 2013, I chose liberation, and liberation began to hunt me down in ways that I did not know that I was even in bondage. Liberation began to show up to me even in the form of a well-made man. I had prayed for this type of marriage, or what, not more rage marriage, but partner, contract, elevation. Not because most people, when we talk about marriage, look at the words, we're saying more rage, more rage. My liberation showed up then a few months later in October. This was July, in the form of a well-made man, because I'm still doing my divine assignment while I'm getting in alignment with my divine assignment. This is where I'm going to close off. A lot of y'all come into other people's circles. I just posted about this. You see them coaching, you see them in the microphone, you go, you have an experience and a breakthrough, and you wanted to, and you say, oh, I'm supposed to coach, I'm supposed to help people. No, but many of us are choosing what our next step is based off of our pain, based off of our lack. And it's noble to want to go and help somebody, but understand I had to be in alignment with my divine assignment. And at times I looked like Hagar in looking for her well of Zamzam. Hagar was the one who was chosen. You understand? Sarah, there was barrenness in Sarah's household. She could not produce any more children. And so she wanted to Abraham. She said she bargained with Abraham and said, let's get us a concubine that's going to help us to give birth to something. And so the concubine was Sarah. Hagar was already a handmaiden. She was already a servant. And so they chose her to, and this is where we get the religious wars, Abraham and Isaac. Come on, y'all. These stories are not just for us to read and be churchified. It's for you to see Abraham in your life, in your lineage. It's for you to see the Sarah in you, a place where you're barren and you need to ask for support. But then when the support showed up, Sarah got jealous. This is where people have mother wounds. It's hard for you to see another woman win. You compare yourself to her, you compete with her. You understand? This is what happened with Sarah. This is not the first time that this type of thing happened in scripture between sisters. This is not the first time it's been a conversation around the womb and giving birth. Right now, I can't think of the name of the two sisters. Penelope. Oh, this is a good confirmation. Good confirmation. I don't know if y'all can hear the song. But it starts with a P. I know this. I know the story. I've preached this in many churches. But this was the same two sisters. One could get pregnant, one couldn't get pregnant. One had to go to the priest to petition with God to say, if you give me pregnant, then I will dedicate the child back to you. These dynamics between women have often existed. There's Mary and Elizabeth, and you'll be around your Mary, and you might be Elizabeth, she may be Mary. But when you can feel your belly jump over and over again, you know that you are pregnant with something. I hope somebody's belly is jumping today. I hope I'm never the sister that was jealous and sitting there saying she was drunk, not knowing that she was in the spirit. She was praying, she was at the altar. And she gave birth to a child that would go on to be a priest out of her barrenness. And Hagar got put out because Sarah got jealous, and so they cast her out so Sarah could be comfortable, but Hagar had to go out into the wilderness. How many of you all ever felt like you were in the wilderness by yourself? And Hagar was ready to lay her burden down because she got her baby and she don't have no water. She's dehydrated. This almost like a Sunday sermon, ain't it? I ain't been talking to y'all, but just because I ain't talking don't mean that I'm not getting full. So listen, so Sarah decides to lay her burden down, and she falls, she gives up and surrenders, and she has the well of Zamzam. Go look it up, it's recorded. The well of Zamzam. The spring of water came up out of the ground. Many of us in humanity have felt like we were in the wilderness. There are people who got vaccinated because they made choices in fear. There are people who got vaccinated and ostracized their family, judged other people, only for the CDC and all these folks to come back and say, oh, we got it wrong. We lied. Such and such is on trial. But we was telling y'all, some of y'all, we was telling the whole time. In the wilderness. Those people were in the wilderness during 2020. You had to find your own kind. You were going through a rites of passage. Some of you, your own bloodline said, if you can't come to the party, if you don't have a card, come on now. What do we do to families? We let somebody, our natural enemy that we were just protesting had been unjust to us. We were looking for healing from them. Okay. All right. Let me get off of that. I'm talking to those who've been in the wilderness for any reason. Maybe you felt prodigal. I felt that too before. Maybe you've been prodigal. I know I've been prodigal. Sometimes the mother wound would make me go out of my way to make sure I could do it on my own, to prove it to you that I could do it. I didn't know that consciously. I had to do some deeper work. It's the juicy work that showed me what my relationship with money was, why I was attracting the kind of clients I was attracting, why was I struggling with this over here. Yes, the feminine energy can take you that deep in such that you will, as Nicodemus says, shall I enter into my mother's womb and be born again? Yeah. Yes, you must enter into your mother's womb to be born again, but not the mother that you came from. It's from the divine mother. And the rebirth is being able to do it over and over again. Just like the phoenix that rises from the ashes, saying, so much of humanity has been in a wilderness trying to figure out, from layoffs, new life. They brought so many different things for so many people. Let's talk about the grief. Some people didn't start feeling their grief until last year. because 2022 people were so excited to get back outside. So I just want to get back to normal, only to find there is no normal and the energy is off out here in these streets. So what do I do? So some people came closer into their spirituality, their honesty, their work. Some people were ushered to find their hustle, created a whole new niche. There's so many things, that's wonderful things that happen in this too. And here we come usher into the end of that labor, those labor pains, until the universe has a whole new birth on April 8th called total solar eclipse. The reason why I like to go into the metaphysics of astrology, because it really is your own planetary system that can show you that we are all in this together in many ways. And it looks different based off of your consciousness, your awareness, your willingness, your desire for true liberation. My liberation started the moment with a job, a job. Because some people want to live as a Job. There are people who want to live as Job. Because all of the decisions that Job could have made along the way until he surrendered, like Hagar had to drop to her knees, Job had to at some point say, man, no. And the way you drop to your knees may not be sanctimonious. It may be F it. I'm done. Whatever. You get tired. And there's a lot of burnout that's being talked about, that is happening, that is real. There are a lot of people who are returning to jobs because they enter into entrepreneurship, got a PP loan and all this foolishness because that was the thing to do. Some of you Gen Xers, baby boomers, y'all let millennials feed you based because they are the ones feeding the algorithm. They're the first internet babies. You all know belly to belly relationships, how to build. You know how to disrupt. You know how to be prodigal, because there's blessing in being prodigal. We're in a liberation season on so many levels. My liberation season started in 2013. And it was, and some of y'all, some people, some of you younger ones, millennials who watch me, clients, especially some of you executive women and it's celebrity millennials who you watch. I'm not talking to some of y'all who are present in the room now, but y'all come and watch. You want it instantaneously. 2013, baby, before I was able to see any progress from the labor and the build and the new identity. And still doing my spiritual work and challenging my own ego, my own limitations, before I got a major win and the major wins started to, so when I tell you come work with me privately, I'm going to put out the formula on there. I know I had a formula to the point where my program started being full and I wasn't even marketing and having ads and all this stuff that some of the people tell you to do. When you are different, you are supposed to do certain things differently. Love, sex, and money. And if you are still operating your life based off of the cookie cutter, the shoulds, you may be in bondage. But I had to get into alignment with my divine assignment to find more liberation, because I could not live somebody else's script. There were other coaches that had come along and I tried to use their formula. And then, I mean, to the letter, to the T, the same way I went to school. I tried to do it the same way I went to school. Okay, they said, do this. All right, I did that. Okay, they said, do this. And I did that. I got good grades in school. I was in the gifted class. I went to college with the gifted section. So I thought maybe something must be wrong with me. When I try, and then that's when God began to show me, trust yourself. I told you, you're not like us. You're not like them. You can't do everything. You might not even be like anybody you know in your family. But it's there. It's the ancestral work that showed me the entrepreneurs were there, but so are the pastors, the ministers, and the anointed ones. They might not be in the first lines, and you got to go back. So for me, this is so surreal. Y'all know I was putting out a request for an admin assistant because I got into such a busy season with just saying yes to something that I usually am so resistant to. And a part of it was service. It wasn't attached to the money. Another part of it was the thing that I really was so afraid of surrendering to in ministry, because this has always been ministry for me. And yes, it's a marketplace ministry because I do programs and that type of thing, but there was still something bigger. And so I told you all that I said yes to an invitation to do some projects and some special project work in ministry, in pastoral ministry. And I literally am in the yes in this season of surrender, a rebirth. And so I want to say thank you to all of you who are in the program. And my schedule got hijacked. Oh my God. And I was saying yes to this and a lot of other things, being a yes to being a mommy of 3 boys, a bonus mom, one of them graduating, saying yes to being a cultural custodian in my family, where there's some amazing healing happening right before my eyes and reconnection because of the prayers that I know I prayed years ago. Sometimes you just got to stay with it. But some of y'all quit too soon. You give up too soon. You get up and you run, you hide. I had to stay with it. Some of you don't know how to be in a relationship with conflict because how do I know you know? Because I was one. If it was too much conflict, I'm out of here. I got the gift of goodbye because at a certain point, goodbye took care of me. It helped me to begin to find my way. But at a certain point, whatever you use to even move you along the way can be from the wound, not from the wealth. So when I talk about feminine abundance, it's not just moving from to protect the wound, to hide the wound, to serve others out of because you were wounded. No, it's about the wealth. And I really do feel like this is a season for us and for humanity and those who know that they are the indigenous people of this land, those who know that there's something happening in this season of exposure that needs to happen. There is the uncertainty that much of it is an illusion and a stage play. You all really don't know how much is really produced. Once they found out that the Pentagon absolutely had one of the largest investments in the Pentagon is a production studio, you don't know what you're watching that's real. I'm just saying. Do the research. So be careful where you attach your emotion. Oh, that just broke my heart. This Wait, just wait. Just wait and watch. Observe. Observation is a science. Observation is a science, a spiritual science, a high-level spiritual science. So I say all this while Saturn is in retrograde. I say all this while Neptune is in retrograde, in Neptune. So there are going to be many shadows that have been hidden that are going to be revealed. Don't be surprised. I've been teaching a little bit in planning with the planets on IVTV about some of this. Of course, I don't go into the detail that we go into here because this is for the heavy hitters over here. No, I'm just kidding. But there are a lot of people who are just starting their journey. And guess what? I'm in alignment with my assignment in my ministry. When I'm in somebody else's ministry, I know how to act because I'm the invited guest. So celebrate with me. Liberation or bondage. You get to choose. So I open up the floor to ask you, which do you choose? A lot of people have been benefiting from the frequency readings. I encourage you to get a frequency reading. I will make the special available to my tribe again. It will be, you will see the IVP TV picture on it, and it will be the Not Like Us special so that you can find what you're choosing. Your body will tell the story. The Akashic records will translate the story. The choice you make after that will give you an opportunity to create a new story for yourself using the harmonics. If you've had a frequency reading before, you can have another one. You can get customized soundtracks for anything that I went to the doctor the other day. I got some favorable and some concerning news. Both can exist at the same time, but I got to do something about it. I'm going to make playlists, customized playlists that will go into the frequency of my body to assist me as I do make other things, dietary changes, so that all works together like a symphony. Also, it means that I'm in a season of surrendering and asking for support. I can't do it all. I had a big team back in 2020, between 2018 to 2020. I had a big team, and that team was for a season. And after that season, I said, oh, I can just do it. I'm just going to keep it like this. And then Spirit said, I don't want you doing it. Why are you doing that? You can't do what I asked you to do over here. So I've had to shift my mindset. So I just invite you all to share. I'm going to end the live on YouTube if you want to stay in our Zoom room before. And let me give a quick update. The Not Like Us, the recorded Not Like Us series is underway. I'm going to move our Zoom room time to 7 p.m. so that some of our sisters who are still working can get in here. The Not Like Us series will also be recalibrated to where it'll start going up once it's recorded at 1 o'clock. But the time that we have together, I also am looking for, I've been hearing this is so weird, but I've been looking for a 2 Live crew. The 2 Live crew. Where is my 2 Live crew to go on TikTok with me so we can just have some lives on TikTok? I want to play with having a little fun. I like TikTok right now better than Facebook or Instagram. And so, let's go over there and let's turn up. I want to know, where's the 2 Live crew? Those of you who are on my calendar for readings, you just hang in there. We're almost where we need to be. We're aligning. So we're aligning, and I was saying aligning, thinking of a lion. With so much lion energy around me right now. I even got felines over here. Wednesday is still the meeting day. This is our meetup day. Yeah. So it seems like people like the 7 o'clock time. And then what happened is I got so busy, I couldn't go in and change it. And then y'all came in here last week and y'all did exactly what I envisioned. Thank you so much. I never want to build a community where it just has to be me. So thank you to Chantel, to Cheryl. Who else was here? Imani, was it you? Yes. Y'all came in and did what light workers do. You shine your light with each other. I'm so glad I set up the settings like that. I intentionally set it up. I didn't know why I was setting it up. Spirit said, no, open it up so they can come on. And y'all came in here and shared and talked like sisters are supposed to in tribe. Thank you. I was at the doctor's office and delayed, and I couldn't get in here, and I was stressing out. And that's the thing. Spirit is saying, showing, moving things, the things I won't let go of, it's being snatched. And so it looks crazy. And so it won't look crazy much longer because today, baby, I met with, brought on board my new admin assistant. And so, but I'm going to continue to build the team. And so some of the things that I have been trying to get out and do, Spirit said, nope, it's time for you to let somebody else do that so we can focus on something else bigger than that. And so that I don't know who that blesses today. So I want to hear why you're choosing liberation. And I want you to be honest if you feel like you are still in any level of bondage, and see if I can support you. I didn't even mean to talk this much this long. Lord have mercy. So I'm gonna end it on YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. For those of you who watch, those of you who are the watchers, don't just watch, participate, like, comment, and share. I love you. There's